Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Riolonda. Presentation main points: Introduction, History, Literary works. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Riolonda was born on June 19, 1861 to Francisco Mercado and Teodora Alonso in the town of Calamba in the province of Laguna. He had 9 sisters and 1 brother. At the early age of 3, the future political leader had already learned the English alphabet, and by the age of 5, Jose could already read and write. In his full name, after his brother's advice, hence being known as Jose Protasio Rizal. His performance in school was outstanding, winning various poetry contests, impressing his professor with his familiarity of Castilian and other foreign language, and crafting literary essays that were critical of the Spanish historical accounts of pre-colonial Philippine society.
A man with multiple professions. Later on specialized in ophthalmology. In May 1882, he decided to travel to Madrid in Spain and earned his licentiate in medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid. Apart from being known as an expert in the field of medicine, a poet, and an essayist, Rizal exhibited other amazing talents. He knew how to paint, sketch, and make sculptures because he lived in Europe for about 10 years. He also became a polyglot, conversant in 22 languages. Aside from poetry and creative writing, Rizal had varying degrees of expertise in architecture, sociology, anthropology, fencing, martial arts, and economics, to name a few.
Rizal has been very vocal against the Spanish government, but in a peaceful and progressive manner. For him, the pen was mightier than the sword, and through his writing, he exposed the corruption and wrongdoings of government officials as well as the Spanish friars. While in Barcelona, Rizal contributed essays, poems, allegories, and editorials to the Spanish newspaper La Solidaridad. Most of his writings, both in his essays and editorials, centered on individual rights and freedom, especially for Filipino people. As part of his reforms, he even called the inclusion of the Philippines to become a province of Spain. Upon his return to the Philippines, Rizal formed a progressive organization called the Liga Filipina. The civic movement advocates social reforms through legal means. Now, Rizal was considered even more of a threat by Spanish authorities, which ultimately led to his exile in Dapitan in northern Mindanao. This, however, did not stop him from continuing his plans for reform. While in Dapitan, Rizal built a school, hospital, and water system. He also taught farming and worked on agricultural projects, such as using abaca to make ropes. In 1896, Rizal granted leave by then Governor General Blanco, after volunteering to travel to Cuba to serve as doctor to yellow fever victims. Days before his execution, Rizal bid farewell to his motherland and countrymen through one of his final letters entitled Mi Ultimo Adios, or My Last Farewell. Dr. Jose Rizal was executed on the morning of December 30, 1896, in what was then called Bagong Bayan. Upon hearing the command to shoot him, he faced the squad and uttered in his final breath, Consumatum est. According to historical accounts, only one bullet ended the life of the Filipino martyr and hero. Upon hearing the command to shoot him, he faced the squad and uttered in his final breath, Consumatum est. According to historical accounts, Only one bullet ended the life of the Filipino martyr and hero.
The 8 most important literary works by Jose Rizal. To the Filipino youth. Rizal wrote this literary poem when he was still studying at the University of Santo Tomas, or UST, originally written in Spanish, a la Juventud Filipina. Rizal submitted this piece for a poem contest organized for a Filipino by the Manila Lyceum of Art and Literature. Goodbye to Leonor. This literary piece gives an insight into the romantic relationship of Rizal and his beloved, Leonor Rivera. The two met when in the province of Dagupan when Rivera was only 13 years old. To the young woman of Malolos. Addressed to the Filipino woman. Rizal's letter entitled To the Young Woman of Malolos reflects his inheritance and issues reminders to the Filipino woman. In his letter, he addressed all kinds of Filipino women, mothers, wives, and even the single mom. Kundiman. He wrote a kundiman to profess his intense love for his motherland. This piece reflects his high hopes that one day the Philippines would be free from treachery and injustice. At the time, the country faced great threats while he was in Europe, and through this work, he voiced his hopeful thought despite being far away from the country.
Junto al Pasig. The play centers around Leonido, a young Filipino who has a strong faith in the Virgin, and the Diwata, Satan, which symbolizes the Spanish oppression towards Filipinos. Its theme highlights Christianity, good versus evil, and paganism. The Philippines' national hero wrote it in honor of the Our Lady of Peace and Voyage of the UST, and the play was staged on December 8, 1880. Noli Me Tangere. One of the most sought-after books in the Philippine literature until today is Rizal's famous novel titled Noli Me Tangere. Driven by his undying love for his country, Rizal wrote the novel to expose the ills of Philippine society during the Spanish colonial era.
El Filibusterismo. This is Rizal's sequel to his first book, Noli Me Tangere. In El Filibusterismo, the novel exhibits a dark theme, in which it depicts the country's issues and how the protagonist attempts a reform. Ultimo Adios. After being associated with the Katipuneros, Rizal was arrested and later sentenced to death by firing squad for acts of sedition and rebellion. During his final days in Fort Santiago of Manila, Rizal bid farewell to his motherland and countrymen through letters. Mi ultimo adios, or my last farewell, is one of the few last works that Rizal wrote. References.
The presentation was prepared by yours truly, John Edmar and Mariano.
Angeline Hanna Canciller,
Shaila Regodon,
Christopher Matthew G. Javier,
Franklin J. Colinares,
and Paul Anthony Escala Sanchez.
Thank
Thank you for watching.